So this is how the BullsAI platform looks like, right? So all of you have used it previously as well, and this is the Odyssey where all the strategies are listed. So previously, what you might have noticed is these are the strategies that you might have noticed. This 9 strategies are there with descriptions and different informations. Now going ahead, if you go onto the BullsAI right now or going ahead, you will see 2 additional strategies: range expansion 1, range expansion 2. Both strategies fundamentally work the same way, but if you notice, the stocks are different. If you notice over here, this mainly trades with JioFinance and Eternal. This mainly trades with Tata Motors and Union Bank. That's the only fundamental difference between both of these strategies, that the stock targeted are different. Other than that, the fundamental concept and everything remains absolutely the same. Few things you might see over here, right? You will see that minimum capital required is also 2000. So that ensures if you have a lower fund size, you can still use these strategies and trade using these strategies. All right. Both of it, you can start off with 2000, 3000, or whatever the amount you prefer. Secondly, if you see the information that is given over here, I'll just read it out. A smart intraday trend following strategy. So this essentially is a trend following strategy that uses range expansion to capture emerging trends, identifying price compression zones, and confirming moves with momentum cues. So the simple, if I put it very simply, you might have seen like how the spring bounces, right? Once you compress and just remove your hand, it just bounces in one direction. Similarly, you might have noticed now, if you have traded in the markets or if you have been in the markets, you might have noticed there is a lot of compression and then suddenly market expands in one direction, and that's how the trend begins. That's the start of the trend. So this strategy identifies that, it identifies the compression, it identifies that range, and when the range goes into an expansion zone, it tries to capture and enter that particular trade. Let it be a long trade, that is the market going up, or let it be a short trade, that is the market going down. Right? So this is good for volatile markets where the market move rapidly in any direction. So this is good. This is also good for price action trading. So basically, it essentially captures the compression and expansion, right? So it also focuses on the price action or in the market. Essentially for GeoFinance and Eternal, when it comes to this strategy, or this strategy is Tata Motors and Union Bank, but the underlying is the same thing. Let's look at the details that is there in this strategy. I'll just zoom in a bit so you guys can also read it. So what kind of a strategy is this? So this is again, as I told you, trend following strategy and essentially intraday. So you enter the market the same day, you exit the market the same day. You don't have overnight risk. You don't have any kind of global risk that is there. Every single day, you can just come and start this strategy. It will take entry and exit on the same day. So you don't have to worry about those things. It identifies price consolidation and capitalizes on the breakout. It uses range expansion, as I told you. It contraction and expansion, that's the main backbone of this strategy. And it adapts dynamically to changing market conditions. One of the main problems or the consistent questions we have in the market is, how do I create a strategy which adapts to different market conditions? For example, during COVID, there was a strong bearish trend. After COVID, the market slowly started to build with a sideways momentum and then build to a bullish trend. So there are 3 different things that happen within a period of 1.5 to 2 years, right? And the question that comes is, how do I create a strategy which adapts to these changing markets? And this particular strategy takes care of it. So you don't again have to worry that, okay, market is doing this, should I do it? Market is doing that, should I do that? That thing you shouldn't have to worry. This strategy will take care of it, and it will take trades only based on how the market is. So you don't even have to worry whether the market is sideways, it's expanding, it's ranging, whatever. So what are the logics and conditions behind it? The entry condition, if for bullish signal, the buy signal, it's triggered when the price moves above a predefined threshold based on range expansion, indicating upward momentum. So the logic behind it is very simple, as you guys would have already picked. It picks a range, right? It identifies a range based on certain conditions we have inputted into it. It identifies a range, and on the when the expansion happens, that's when the buy or the sell signal is triggered. So buy would be when the expansion happens on the top. Sell would be when the expansion happens on the lower side. Exit conditions. So exit conditions, positions are exited on predefined targets and stop loss. So you don't again have to worry, oh, where should I put my stop loss? Where should I put my target? Those things you don't have to worry. Again, those conditions are pre-filled in the strategy itself. So whenever the target is met or whenever the stop loss is met, it will exit that particular trade. But now the question is, this is an intraday strategy, right? So being an intraday strategy, there might be times when the target does not come during the day or the stop loss is not hit during the day and you have entered a position. So in that case, as soon as the time reaches somewhere close to 335, the position will exit because you have to close your position before the end of the day, right? So in that case where the target is not met, the stop loss is not met, at whatever price the market is, it will exit the position. Re-entry logic, so that we don't miss if there is another expansion. So there is re-entry logic wherein if the conditions, buy conditions or sell conditions are met again, it will re-enter that trade and try to capture the new trend as well. So again, you don't even have to worry about that aspect. Next up is stop loss and trailing stop loss. As I mentioned above, the stop loss is fixed stop loss. So again, it won't be trailed. It's a fixed stop loss. If the market comes down, it hits that stop loss range, it will exit. That's the simple concept behind it. You can use the PNL tracker. You can use the PNL tracker continuously to see if the particular position is going on the positive side, going on the negative side, what exactly is happening. You can see it in the PNL tracker. A couple of important points about this. It's effective in trending and high volatile markets, as I've given in the things. If the market is a lot trending, if it's highly volatile, it does well in both of these conditions. Price action based setup allows quick adaptation to market changes. So if the market changes from a bullish to bearish or sideways movement, whatever happens, it quickly adapts to that zone. So you don't have to worry about it. So whenever you want to read detailed description, just type on the details and you will see this particular information over there. Let's go back to the Odyssey. So any of these strategies, as you might be aware, you have the detailed descriptions once you click the view detail, but these two have the same details because underlying is the same. The concept behind it is absolutely the same. So what I'll do is now what do you have to do? What do you have to do is once you go on Odyssey, you identify these strategies and let's say you want to run this, just add to my portfolio, just click on that. If you want to run both of these strategies, then just go ahead, click on both of these as add to my portfolio. Then on my portfolio section, you will see both of these strategies, range expansion 1, range expansion 2. As you might be aware already, before you run any strategy, what do you have to do? You have to go on the broking detail and type in your OTP and revalidate your broking details. So that action you have to do every single day before you trigger any kind of strategy. So that is absolutely given. About these strategies, let's say you want to go ahead and trigger these strategies. All right. So just let's say the range expansion 1, the action is start. I just click on start. There are 3 different options, but since being an Odyssey strategy, my main focus should be on either paper trade or live trading. So again, the option is on you. If you just want to test out the strategy, get a feel of it, of how it runs, how it enters, how it exits, you can do a paper trade. If you want to, start using it for your live trading, you can click on live trade. That's the only difference. If you go down, the broker, choose the broker, whatever broker you have, Fire, Alice Blue, just choose it. Configure parameters, you don't have to tickle around here. Nothing, no input option is available for you. So it's no point that you play or around in config parameters. Select time duration. I won't recommend that you select a time duration because look, the idea is it works on range expansion. So it identifies the range on the expansion it enters. Now, how much time will it take to meet the target? You don't know, I don't know. So it's better we allow it to play. It will exit at 3. If it doesn't meet its target or stop loss, it will exit at 3, right? So I would recommend you don't toggle with this thing. As well, select time duration. You don't have to touch anything. So until now, we are on step 4. You don't select anything here. You just select live trading or paper trading. That's it. You don't choose anything in broker. It will always already be pre-selected. Configure parameters, again, nothing for you to input. Time duration, nothing. Quantities also you don't have to select. I will show you how the quantity will be selected for you. P&L tracker, again, you don't have to select. Both of these options you don't have to select. All right. Let's go on to funds utilization. What do you have to simply do? That means is once you have added it over here, you have to do one simple act. Click on start button, select live trade or paper trade. That's the first thing, whatever you want to do. Scroll down. Let's say you want to live trade. All right. Scroll down on the funds utilization. Select the amount of capital you want to use for this strategy. Now, let me take an example. If I have in my account 10,000 rupees, all right, in my broker account, my demat account, I have fund of 10,000 rupees. So I have a choice. If I want to run just this one strategy, what I'll do is I will add 10,000 rupees over here. But then I have to be mindful that only this strategy will be triggered. If I want to run both of these strategies, let's say range expansion 1, range expansion 2, then I have to manage my capital. For example, I can put 5,000 over here and 5,000 in range expansion 2 strategy. I just have to do it over here. That is whatever the fund size is I have to add it over here. After that, you will see that what is written over here. Set your margin multiplier, valid values of 1 to 5. Now, what is this margin multiplier? So margin multiplier is the benefit that most of the brokers give you in intraday trading. Since this is an intraday trade, most of the brokers allow us margin benefit. What do you mean by that? For example, let's say in your fund, in your brokerage account, if you have 10,000 rupees, most of the brokers allow you 4 to 5 times of margin benefits. So let's say if Fires allows you 5 times of benefit, that means what? Even if you have 10,000 rupees, you can trade worth of 50,000 rupees. That is 10,000 multiplied by 5, 50,000 worth of rupees you can buy and sell stocks, right? So that is the benefit that brokers allow you so that you can make more money. But be mindful about it that in case it hits your stop loss, you will lose also higher. I will show the calculation to you just in a second. So margin benefit, again, we have recommended a value of 1 to 5 because what will happen? You will put a higher figure, and if the broker doesn't allow it, they will reject the order, and then your trade won't get executed. So I personally recommend that don't use any value more than 3 or 4, right? Don't even go up till 5. On the first day, at least use 1, right? Run the strategy, see how it works. Then on the second, third day, you can increase it to 2 and 3 and, use it. Then acknowledge it. And finally, you can get this option of live trade. Currently, the market is off, so you are not getting this option of live trade. But when the market is on, you will get this option. Now, how exactly would it calculate? All right. Now, you already know on the first particular strategy that we have, range expansion 1, there is JIOFIN. There is one more, there is Eternal. JIOFIN and Eternal, there are 2 stocks. So whether it will, how much will it buy of 2 stocks? Will it buy only of first JIOFIN, or how will it work? I'll just show it to you. Let's say you put in 5,000 or 10,000 over here. All right. Let's come over here to this Excel sheet. So the first strategy that we have, range expansion 1, it works on JIOFIN and Eternal, these 2 stocks. The second strategy works on Tata Motors and UNIONBANK. I've just mentioned over here whatever the current price is, current market prices of all these stocks, right? Just for our reference. Now let's look at it one at a time. For example, let's say we are running the range expansion 1 strategy. All right, this is the range expansion 1 strategy. Let's say the fund utilization, what we are doing is 5,000, right? That's what we are using it over here. We have inputted as 5,000. How much will it use for JIOFIN? It will use 50% of it for JIOFIN. It will use 50% of it for Eternals, right? It will use 50% for JIOFIN, 50% for Eternals. So 2,500 each capital allocation will be there. How many shares can we buy of then each of these stocks? So for example, if JIOFIN buy trade came in, it had a range expansion and it crossed a resistance and it had a buy trade. So how many shares can we buy? So simple calculation, divide 2500 by the GeoFinance, that is 258. So you get close to 9.69, and similarly do for Eternals and you get 10.59. Now we can't trade in points, right? So whatever the lower round of is, so for example, in this case, it will buy 9 stocks, or if it was Eternals, it will buy or sell 10 stocks. It's important now what you select as margin multiplier. All right. So for example, in our case right now, I have mentioned as one, that is margin multiplier is one. So in case of one, the actual quantity you would see traded would be GeoFinance. If it had a GeoFinance trade, if it had an expansion, you will see 9 shares either bought or sold. In case of Eternals, 10. In case you change this from one to, let's say, two, let's say from one, you change it to two. So it will double what you traded. So initially, if normally you could only buy 9 shares because of margin benefit that brokers give you, instead of 9, you will be buying 18 shares. So if GeoFinance went up by 1 point, you will make 18 rupees. If it went down by 1 point, and you will lose 18 rupees, right? Because it gives you that leverage, that margin benefit. Similarly, you can select 3, you can select 4, whatever you want, you can select it over here, and that much share you will buy. Now, the main question comes is, do you have to do all this calculation? Do you have to worry about all these kind of things? No, absolutely not. What I wanted to show you over here is that how the margin benefit multiplier works for you, right? So in each case, the margin multiplier doubles or triples or quadruples the amount of shares you should ideally buy because of the leverage benefit that you get. All right. So that is the benefit that we have kept over here, and based on how the broker allows you, you can take that benefit. You can make use of it. Once that is done, you just have to go ahead, click on live trade, and that will execute your order. Similarly, you can do for range expansion too. Again, just I mentioned, you don't have to, you can just toggle between whatever you want, paper trade, live trade. Don't select quantity, don't select anything else, just come down. Fund utilization, mention the fund utilization, mention the multiplier that you wanted to trade, and that much. Just acknowledge this in case you're live trading, and this option will be enabled. This is how you can walk through. You can do this. You can trigger range expansion 1 or range expansion 2 based on whatever you want to do. All right. Um, that said, any other thing? So yeah, and whatever the profit and loss that happens over here, you can go ahead and you can check those things in your dashboard. You can check those things in your, you will also see it mentioned over here, these live reports. You can see the PNL and everything working for you once you have made those trades. So again, you don't even have to worry about it. You can trade, you can check those in your broker account, your Fire, Alice Blue. You can go ahead and check in those accounts as well. All right. So I believe this should cover extensively about both of these strategies and how they work. So you can use it from tomorrow.